Welcome back. This week we are doing Manipura Chakra. So we did Muladhara the first week, Svadhisthana the second week, and this week here we are in the solar plexus belly region at Manipura Chakra. So I'm going to read a little bit from this book called Prana and Pranayama. It was written not too long ago, 2009. It's from the Bihar School of Yoga. They put out a lot of great books about yoga. Has a few others I've read from have been from that grouping of books as well. So I just wanted to mention a little something about chakras that this book reminded me and made me clear of. Each chakra vibrates at a particular rate and velocity. The chakras at the lowest point of the energy circuit operate at a lower frequency. So that would be the last 2 weeks of Muladhara and Svadhisthana. They are grosser, meaning more material, more heavy, and create grosser states of awareness. Chakras at the top of the circuit operate at a higher frequency and are responsible for higher intelligence and subtler states of awareness. The different systems of yoga, especially Hatha and Kriya yoga, systemically purify, rebalance, and awaken the chakras individually and also as a whole. So in other words, we're working our way up now. We're in the torso with Manipura Chakra and Anahata, which is the heart chakra, next week. One thing about Manipura, which is known as the city of jewels, that's what it translates to from Sanskrit, is that it is the storehouse of prana. So I'm actually going to read a little bit from this book, the Sivananda Companion to Yoga. Sivananda Yoga was sort of the first yoga in the West. Shivananda brought yoga to the West, and this is a book from the 80s, complete with very 80s-tastic illustrations that sort of describes Shivananda's yoga process. So what they say about prana here is, central to all the practices of yoga is the movement of prana, the life force or vital energy. Prana is in matter, but it is not matter. It is in air, but it is not oxygen. It is a subtle form of energy that is carried in air, food, water, and sunlight, and animates all forms of matter. Through the practice of asanas and pranayama, more prana is taken in and stored in the body, bringing great vitality and strength. Asanas being the physical practices we do, and pranayama being the breathing exercises that we do. So, backtracking back to prana and pranayama, Manipura Chakra. Manipura literally means the city of jewels, located behind the navel in the spine. Its development is very important for success in the pranic science, as it is the storehouse of prana. This center is associated with heat, vitality, dynamism, generation, and preservation. Manipura is often compared with the dazzling orb of the sun, without which there would be no life. As the sun radiates light and energy, so Manipura radiates and distributes pranic energy throughout the body, regulating and fueling life's processes. It is characterized by activity, dynamism, strength, and will, a gut feeling. And when your gut pulls you through, that's Manipura being activated. Its element is fire and is represented by a bright yellow lotus with 10 petals, and its bija mantra is Ram, R-A-M. So again, yellow lotus, 10 petals. There we are. All right. So without further ado, Manipura Chakra. So we'll start off with a little bit of belly rubbing. So bring both hands to the belly, and then you're moving in kind of a clockwise fashion if 12 o'clock is below the navel and 6 o'clock is above the navel. So hands are going up the right side, across, and then down the left side, following the ascending colon on the right side, the transverse colon across, and the descending colon, which takes you to the out exit on the left side. So anytime you find yourself having trouble digesting food, this is the direction to gently rub the belly. But we're starting to bring some activation to the belly, to Manipura Manipura Chakra, that energy vortex in the solar plexus area. That's here. And Brian's going to talk a little about triangle breathing, a certain kind of breathing to help you access that sense of will and gut instinct and general Manipura activation.
So triangle breathing is where we inhale for a count, hold the breath for the same count, and then exhale for that same count, and then repeat that again. So there's no holding at the end of the exhale like square breathing. So if you inhale and you count to the number 4, we're going to hold for 4, and we're going to exhale for 4, and then repeat. So if you want to take that time to do that right now, let's take a deep inhale, count to whatever you count to at the top of that inhale, then hold the breath for the same count, and then you're going to exhale for the same count. And then we're going to do that again. Inhaling, holding, exhaling.
And continue practicing that on your own. As you do this, I'm going to talk a little bit more about fire in the body. So Manipura, City of Jewels, is called City of Jewels because the idea is there's a fire in the belly that is helping the jewels to shine. In yoga, you want to keep the heat out of the head and actually in the belly, which is the house of Agni, the digestive fire. So basically, it's helping you to digest your food, break it down into pieces, and transform it into energy. Manipura is the location of fermentation, changing water to fire, that spark of life, that bubbling of life. That is the belly. And from here, when you're ready, we're going to inhale, arms out wide and up. Exhale, bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Right hand comes to the back of the chair, or I'll turn my chair to the side here so you can see what I'm doing, or to the base of the chair. We'll look at the knees for a second, see if that left knee is winging out to the left and the right knee is coming back, and draw that left knee back to be even with the right. From here, we'll look behind us, inhaling, holding, exhaling. Again, inhaling, tapping into triangle breathing, holding, and exhaling. And when you're ready, we'll inhale, arms wide and up. Exhale, twisting the other way. Right hand comes to outside the left knee. Left hand comes to the back of the chair or the base of the chair, depending how your shoulder feels. Take a look at your knees. If your right knee is coming forward, draw the right knee back, even with the left, and then look over the left shoulder, inhaling, holding, exhaling. Again, inhaling, holding, exhaling. And you can allow yourself to unwind on the next inhale. From here, let's sit forward a little bit in the chair. Open the knees as wide as you need them to be so that as you exhale, you can fold forward here. Hands can either stay on the knees, or if it's comfortable for you to bring the hands to the shins, ankles, feet, or floor, feel free to do so. We'll exhale, folding forward here. Maybe turn the head a little to one side, a little to the other, shaking the head no. And then rocking the head yes. And then from here, breathing through the belly, so feeling the belly press into either the chair, the thighs, or just midair. And then exhaling, feeling the belly lift back a little bit. Let's bring that left hand to the right foot or right knee. Right hand can come to right knee. We'll drop that left shoulder down, looking over our right shoulder. From here, if you like, you can inhale that right arm up. Exhale, right hand to hips, Or bring that right hand all the way around the back so the right fingertips touch the front of the left thigh. Breathing here in your twist. Twisting is associated with digestion, which happens at Manipura Chakra. So there will be a lot of twists in this class as we activate the belly. When you're ready, we'll unwind, bringing the hands back to the knees, the ankles, the shins, the ground, the floor, the feet, wherever they land. From here, let's bring that right hand to the left foot, left hand to the left knee, or right hand to the left knee as well. We'll look over the shoulder to the left. If you'd like to go further, inhale that left arm up. Exhale, left hand to low back, or snake it around to the front of the right thigh. Looking over the left shoulder, breathing deep here. And when you're ready, folding forward again, hands come to knees, shins, ankles, feet, ground, wherever. Exhaling the head, tucking the chin towards the chest, let the head rock side to side. And back and forth. And then from here, ground into the feet. We're gonna start activating the abdominal muscles. Take the hands first to the knees, and then from here, lift the body a little bit. Maybe take the hands overhead. Breathing here for just a second. Grounding into the feet. Activate the belly to lift the spine just a little bit. And then maybe coming all the way up. Exhale, hands to the knees. Brian's going to take us through sumo twists.
So, for sumo twists, we're going to take the knees out, about as wide as we can comfortably make them. Oh, plant footsie. If you're in the chair, you can sit towards the end of the chair. You can also do this not in the chair. You can do this standing up as well.
Standing. Make sure if you're doing this standing, the feet are at a 45-degree angle and the knees are not past the ankles. They're just above the ankles. So instead of like this, they're just above.
And so we're going to bring the hands onto the thighs, just above the knees, fingers facing down. Leaning forward, we'll take a big inhale here. Exhale, twist to one side. So you can straighten that opposite arm as you twist away from it. Inhale back through center. Exhale, twisting to the other side. And inhaling back through center. We're just going to go back and forth like this. Inhaling as we twist away. Exhaling as we come back to center. Oh, wait, did I get that wrong? Exhale as we twist.
Inhale, center.
Exhale as we twist. Thank you. Exhale as we twist. Inhale as we come back to center. Exhaling, twist. Inhaling back to center. I thought something felt off. A few more times. Twisting side to side. This helping with digestive fire.
Getting your digestive fluids flowing.
And maybe one last time. Twisting. Inhaling back to center.
All right, and without further ado, we're going to stand right up because we've got a fair deal of seated practices further on. So early standing. So from here, we're going to kind of draw everything up from the ground because, as I said earlier, we're going from the grosser or more sort of weighty lower chakras to the lighter, more subtle chakras. Right now we're in the thorax, which is the belly and heart, Manipura, Anahata. So then we're kind of in the middle here, taking the elevator up basically to the second floor. We aren't at the penthouse yet. We'll get there in a few weeks. So either with feet about hips width distance or big toes to touch and a couple inches between the heels, we'll exhale, bend the knees, bring the hands to the knees, draw circles with the knees here. So warming up.
Now find a spot that's not creaking. There we go.
Warming up through the knees and the ankles. Yes, the creaking's the floor. We swear it's not his ankles or knees. It's the floor. But if it is your ankles and knees, that's fine too. When you're ready, we'll switch direction. Taking those knee rolls.
I always tell people, pops and clicks are normal, pain is not. So if there's ever any pain, just back out of it. Okay. Yep.
When you're ready, we'll come back up to standing. Take the feet nice and wide.
And we're just going to rotate the hips, so making big circles with the hips. And just breathe normally, or you could try to cultivate that triangular breathing we were doing at the beginning of class, if you'd like. When you're ready, switch the direction that you're drawing that circle. And when you're ready, we'll come back to center. And we're going to do figure eights with the hips. Now for this figure, for our figure eights, for the beginning, I'm taking the hips from the back to the front.
You mean from the
and
front
then
to the back?
That's right, from the front to the back. And then the other hip from the front to the back. If you want to get your arms involved, you take them like you're swimming backwards. And you can, this might help some people because the hips can follow the arms, or the arms can follow the hips, whichever way you like to look at it. And then the big switcheroo, taking it forward, and you can take the arms with you. So now it's like we're swimming forward, and we're taking those hips from back to front, one at a time. And when you're ready to come out of that, we'll just come back to center. Feel free to shake it a little bit.
Feel free to shake it a lot because we are going to get into some twisting in a minute. So feel free to bring the feet fairly wide, like about a little wider than hips width distance. And you can let that shaking kind of start to evolve into twisting. And then Brian will take us through a more formalized twisting practice.
So eventually we'll stop the shaking and just come to twisting. Back and forth. You can just let the arms just sort of whack your neighbor, or not. And then we're going to add a breathing exercise into this. Let's take the elbows back. Take the palms out flat like you're skimming water at chest height. Inhale as you twist to the right. Exhale, making the sound shh as you twist to the left. Shh, shh, shh. Now we're going to take the forearms and turn them up, face the palms at the head, still doing that breathing. You might feel this in a whole different section of your back. Still exhaling as you go to the left, inhaling as you go to the right. And then continuing that breathing. Let's take the arms down about waist height. Still inhaling to the right. And exhaling with a shh as you twist to the left. Again, you might feel this in a whole different section of your back. And eventually we'll just make our way back to center. Feel free to shake it out.
From here, because we're working with this torso area, with the sort of thoracic spine area, let's reach down with one hand and then reach down with another. And so there's some specifics to this movement here. We're not lifting the shoulder and lifting the other shoulder, but we're reaching down, reaching down. What this movement is actually a massage for the organs of the abdominal cavity here. We're massaging the belly, the small intestine, the large intestine, as well as the lungs. Things are moving side to side here past each other. See if you can hold your head mostly still while you do this. You can take it slow, you can take it fast, whatever you need to just reach down side to side. Swaying palm tree. You want me to teach swing palm tree?
Swaying palm tree. So coming back to center, let's keep our feet at about hips width distance parallel, so they're both facing in the same direction. We'll take the arms out into a T. Keep those shoulders relaxed. We're going to inhale and go to the side. Take the arms like you're grabbing a giant beach ball. Exhale back through center. Inhale, going to the other side, grabbing that beach ball. Exhale back through center. We're just going to keep going back and forth like that. Inhaling as we reach to the side. Exhaling as we come back through center.
And if this is hard on your arms to lift them overhead like this, you can just reach down to one side and reach down to the other. But the key here is keeping the heart pointing up towards the ceiling as you go side to side.
And when you're ready, we'll come back to center. Again, feel free to give it a little shake out.
And then up downs. So Brian's going to show from the front, I'll show from the side, but also with a chair if you need it. I'm going to lift my heart. Brian's got his hands on his hips, his tail is tucked, his heart is long, his abdomen is stretched. So the rectus abdominis, that's the 6-pack or 8-pack muscles through the center of the belly. Those are being stretched long here. If you're using a chair, you step right up next to the chair, heart comes up. When you're ready to exhale, you will either step away from the chair, slide the hands down the back of the chair, keeping a bend in the knees, folding forward, or if you're doing like Brian, just bend the knees, slide the hands down the legs, exhale, folding forward here. When you're ready to inhale, hands come to the chair, walk up the chair, step towards the chair, heart comes up, or you just lift up into the inhale, tucking the tail, lifting the heart, expanding through the abdomen. Exhale, stepping away from the chair, forward fold, or just forward folding. Coming forward, tucking the chin, releasing through the belly. So as you do this movement, whether you're using a chair or doing this in the middle of the room, put awareness into the belly here. So the belly is helping you to lift up and extend the heart towards the ceiling, and then the belly is also helping you to fold forward. Our spine holds up our frame just like the rest of our skeletal system, but there's only one little spine for all of this frame to hold up. That's where the muscles of the abdomen, the rectus abdominis, the oblique muscles, all of these muscles, the transverse abdominis, all of these muscles help to keep our body suspended, to keep our spine suspended and our body up. Without these muscles, it will be a lot more work on the bones. We'll be hearing about 20-somethings complaining about degenerative disc disease, spinal stenosis, all of the above. Which, by the way, if you have degenerative disc disease, spinal stenosis, herniated disc, bulging disc, any kind of lumbar spine issues, keep a bend in the knees as you do this movement. Inhaling up, exhaling forward. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale all the way back up. Heart comes up, spine tucks and tail tucks in the back, and we'll come back up to standing. Shake it off a bit. We have one more we've got balancing, and then we have one more fun standing practice, and then we'll bring it back to seated. So we're going to teach balancing again with abdominal awareness. So usually with balancing postures, our awareness is in our feet and we're grounded down, and that is important, but this time also bring the awareness to the abdomen as we do these practices. The first one is something our teacher Dee taught us called walking balancing, and what it looks like, I'm going to bring my hands to my hips, or if it's more comfortable for you to keep them out by your side for balance, that's fine too. I'm going to lift one leg, standing here with the foot off the ground, step that leg down, lift the other leg, balancing on the other leg, step that foot down. So I'm walking forward, then I lift the first leg, step it back, lift the second leg, step it back. Lift the first leg, step it forward, lift the second leg, step it forward, lift the first leg, step it back, lift the second leg, step it back. And do one more round of these, slowly. Lifting the first leg, maybe this is your balancing here. Step it forward. As soon as that foot comes down, the other knee comes up. Step it forward. Last time. Lift that first leg. Step it back. Second leg. Step it back. And this time we're going to lift the first leg, or I'll show this from the side, Brian will show from the front. You can either keep that knee up, holding under the knee or in front of the knee, or you can bring the toes of, let's say, the right foot to the ground here. So from here, if you're holding the knee up, release that left hand, bring it to the hip, so it's the right knee that's up. Try opening that right knee to the right, and use the abdomen to hold you up here. The awareness is on the abdomen. If you need a chair or the wall or something to hold with your left hand, feel free to do that. And then if you're pivoting here, if you're on your toe, just open the toe to the right. And then when you're ready, we'll bring it back to center. Kick out that right heel, lifting from the abdomen. When you're ready, release, shake it off. We got the B side. Maybe Brian will teach the B side now that he knows where we're going.
So either coming to the point of the foot.
Left foot this time.
Left foot, yes. Or you can lift that knee. You can grab around the knee like this. You can grab under the knee. We're going to take our right hand off of the knee, bring it to the hip, and then you're going to open that leg out to the right. If you're on your toe, you just open the toe. You still keep your toe on the floor. You still open up that hip to the right.
Easier said than done. You can always use the chair on your right side for balance here.
And then we're going to bring that leg back to center.
Or bring the toe back to center.
Kick that leg out. Big inhale here. Big exhale here.
Lifting from the abdomen.
Whoa. And when you're ready, you can slowly lower that foot to the floor. And now feel free to shake it out. Wiggle through the hips. Whatever you got to do to shake out those legs that did all that work.
One last bit of work before we come to seated. So I'll show from the side, Brian will show from the front. Utkatasana. So I'm coming right in front of my chair here. My feet are, again, about hips width distance, and I'm going to sit down. Halfway, not all the way. From here, now I'll have to move this away from the wall a little bit. From here, hands can stay on the hips. They can come to heart center. They can come up overhead. Sit down a little more. Tuck the tail, lifting through the abdomen here. Here's the challenge. Bring the hands to prayer in front of the chest. Let's try twisting first to the left. See if you can hook the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Another option is putting both hands on the side of the left thigh, looking over the left shoulder. When you're ready, coming back to center, maybe sitting a little lower. Twist to the right. Outside the left elbow comes to outside the right knee, or both hands come to the outside of the right thigh. Holding here. When you're ready, don't forget to breathe. We'll come back to center. Take the arms overhead, sit back, and sit down. Breathe back in the chair. Shake the legs off. Whew. All right, so there is still a little more hard stuff ahead of you, but it's all seated, at least. So Kapalabhati. Here we go with our seated subtle practices that aren't that subtle. Kapalabhati translates to skull shining breath, and although a lot of people call it a pranayama, it's actually a cleansing practice in yoga, a shatkarma. So what it is, and Brian's going to show here, he's going to put a hand on his belly. So Kapalabhati is a series of short, active exhales followed by passive inhales. So as he exhales, he draws his navel towards his spine, and then the inhale just happens naturally. That looks beautiful. So maybe do a few of them in succession. Very nice. So the key here is that only the exhale is active. The inhale happens naturally when you release the holding in the abdomen. So the muscle action is that as you exhale, the abdomen comes towards the spine, and then you just release and the inhale happens naturally. We're going to do 3 rounds of these. If you get lightheaded, feel free to breathe normally at any point, or you can even try taking 3 quick short inhales like this, and that will kind of charge your brain with a bit of oxygen. The idea with this practice is as we do these rounds of Kapalabhati over and over again, we're clearing out stale air from the bottom of the lungs. Brian and I also work as touring musicians, and about 10 years ago when they still allowed smoking in bars, we would do this practice on the drives in between going to venues, and notice that towards the end of the practice, as we were exhaling, we were tasting smoke from the previous night.
Not our smoke.
Not our smoke. We don't smoke.
The
But
smoke,
we were tasting the
secondhand
cigarette.
smoke.
We were tasting the cigarette smoke from the previous night coming out. That is the power of Kapalabhati. It is here the clean, stale air out of the bottom of the lungs. But as a seated practice to tone and build the abdominal strength and strengthen the abdomen and activate Manipura Chakra, it is second to none. So when you're ready, we're just going to have 2 quick sort of, I'd say reset breaths. So inhale deeply and exhale. Again, inhaling and exhaling. And this time we'll inhale 3/4 of the way to prepare for our first round of Kapalabhati. When you're ready, exhale, fold forward, pushing all the air out of the belly. Elbows can come to knees. When you're ready to inhale, we'll inhale, sitting back up. And exhale. Again, take 2 regular breaths, inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling, and then this last time we'll inhale 3/4 of the way to prepare for our second round of Kapalabhati breathing, a little longer than the first. Inhaling, when you're ready, exhale, forward fold, pushing all the air out. When you need to inhale, inhale, coming back up to seated. And exhaling. 2 last rounds of breathing to prepare for our final round of Kapalabhati. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. This last time we'll inhale 3/4 of the way for our final round of Kapalabhati. And exhale forward, fold, releasing all the air out. When you're ready to inhale, we'll inhale, coming back up to seated. And exhaling, breathing naturally here. So the last 2 weeks, besides the chakras, we also talked about the bandhas or locks of energy in the body. Specifically, we focused on Mula Bandha these previous weeks, which is the root lock, helpful in postures like this when you want to lift up and hold yourself up and then release the root lock but still have that hold. This week, we've moved our way up to the thoracic spine. So the traditional lock of this area is Uddiyana Bandha, which I'm going to show you, but for our purposes, we're going to practice a much gentler lock today called Nabi Bandha. So Uddiyana Bandha means flying upward, and it's a very strong abdominal practice used to draw the energy up the spine along Sushumna Nadi, the central channel of the body. But as anything, if you practice this, make sure to release it and let the energy go back down. If your energy is just going in one direction, it's going to make you feel very ungrounded and not connected to reality. So it's good to keep whatever you draw up going back down again. So to show you just real quick what Uddiyana Bandha looks like, I'm going to expose my belly. I exhale out all my air and then draw my navel towards my spine and fan the ribs out to the side like this. And then I release the belly and inhale. Again, to show from the side, this is a very dramatic practice. And then I release and exhale. Uddiyana Bandha is the type of thing you only practice on an empty stomach, and it's a good preparation for Agnisara Kriya, which is flapping of the belly to draw energy here, as well as Nauli, which is a churning of the belly. If you want to learn these things and you feel comfortable in your practice to learn them, write a little comment in the comments for this video, and maybe we'll teach a class just focusing on that. But for our purposes today, we're going to use Nabi Bandha. Nabi Bandha is a lock right below the navel, and the way that you access it is you inhale deeply, and then you exhale, and you just draw the navel towards the belly, very subtle, not as deep as Uddiyana Bandha. When you're ready to inhale, keep the navel towards the belly, inhale, and then exhale, release everything. So you'll notice when you inhaled after Nabi Bandha was engaged, the inhale was really mostly in the shoulders, the back, and sides of the body because the belly is being held in here on the inhale, as opposed to traditional 3 and 4 part breathing where the belly expands on the inhale. So that's just useful for helping to pump energy upwards in a more gentle way. Keep that in your mind because we will be coming back to that in just a minute. So we showed Kapalabhati breathing, which is an active exhale, passive inhale. Now we're going to show Bhastrika breathing, bellows breath, which is both an active exhale and an active inhale. And it's also helpful to use it in conjunction with lion's breath, which Brian is going to show for me right now. Lion's breath is a means of cooling down the body, which is helpful when you are cultivating the fire element in Manipura. You also want to be able to cool it all down, because if you let it all be fire, you will burn through your resources. You want to be able to temper fire with water. So what lion's breath looks like is Brian's going to inhale deeply, and then as he exhales, he sticks his tongue out and crosses his eyes. It's quite the look. Very useful though for blowing off steam. Inhaling deeply. The eye crossing is totally up to you. It's to help activate the third eye, Ajna Chakra, which we'll be getting to in a few weeks. If you want to just have the eyes closed or keep the eyes neutral, that's fine too. But the key here is the tongue sticking out and the on the exhale. That tongue sticking out exposes the wet tongue to air around you, which ostensibly is cool, and then you bring the tongue back in the mouth, and the cool air on the tongue cools the head and keeps the heat from being trapped in the head, allows it to sink back down into the belly. So we are going to do Bhastrika breathing, which I will show to you in conjunction with lion's breath. Bhastrika breathing looks like this. I inhale, arms up overhead, or if that's hard on your shoulders, arms straight forward. Exhale, draw the arms towards you as you exhale in your lion's breath. So again, that's Bhastrika breathing. Now, because Bhastrika breathing puts a lot of heat and energy in the thoracic frame, if you're dealing with any kind of heart issues, abdominal issues, be gentle. Maybe only do 1 or 2 of these breaths. We're going to do 3 rounds with 3 breaths per round. So it's 9 breaths total. Way different from Kapalabhati where we do 20, 30, 40, or 20, 40, 60 as we did today. So when you're ready, we'll do 2 deep inhales. Well, 1 deep inhale, 1 deep exhale. And then another deep inhale. Exhaling, bring the arms up to shoulder height or overhead. Inhale deeply. And release hands down. From here, let's inhale deeply. Exhale, engage Nabi Bandha. Draw the navel towards the spine on the exhale. Hold the navel here, inhaling. And exhale. Release everything. Very nice. You can even shake a little on your seat if you need to bring it back down. 2 more rounds. Inhale. And exhale. Again, inhale. And exhale. Next time we inhale, arms up to shoulder height or overhead. Hands come to the lap. Inhale. And exhale. Draw the navel towards the spine, engaging Nabi Bandha. Inhale with Nabi Bandha engaged. Exhale, release everything. Release Nabi Bandha, release the air. If you're lightheaded, take 3 quick inhales. And exhale. Last round. Inhaling. And exhale. Again, inhaling. And exhale. Last round. Hands to shoulder height or overhead. Inhaling. And release hands to the lap. Inhale. Exhale. Draw the navel towards the spine, engaging Nabi Bandha. Inhale with Nabi Bandha engaged. And exhale, release Nabi Bandha, release everything. And then breathe naturally. Now, if this practice has really got you feeling like you're up in your head, for the next practice, Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, feel free to keep the eyes on the nose tip. That will help ground the energy down. If you've inadvertently engaged Mula Bandha or Nabi Bandha, release everything. You can even shake in your chair a little bit to help loosen everything up. And Brian's going to take us through Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing.
So for alternate nostril breathing, traditional hand positions are left hand can come into Chin Mudra or Jnana Mudra, or just have it resting in your lap in whatever you need to do. None of this is,
Nothing's required.
Nothing's required. It's just suggestions. Right hand, pointer and middle finger come into the palm, and you're going to use the thumb and the ring finger to close the alternating nostrils as we move through this. If this is too crampy on your hand, you could take these 2 fingers and place them right on the forehead at the third eye area and do it this way. And if it all just gets too confusing, you can always just do it this way as we close off different nostrils to breathe. So whichever way you're doing it, before we alternate any nostrils, let's just take a big deep inhale, big deep exhale. Once again, inhale, exhale. Now we're going to close off the right nostril and inhale just through the left nostril. Close off both nostrils, retain the breath for a moment, and when you're ready to exhale, we're going to release just the right nostril, exhaling only through the right nostril. Then inhaling right only. Hold the breath. Exhale left. That's one full round. We'll do a few more of those. Inhaling left. Holding the breath. Exhale right. Inhale right. Hold the breath. Exhale left. Inhale left. Hold the breath. Exhale right. Inhale right. Retain the breath. Exhale left. And you can release the hands down. Just breathe normally through both nostrils.
So, as I said earlier, cultivation of fire or will or determination or go-get-em energy in the body in Manipura is best to be balanced with cultivation of water, smooth energy. You don't want your fire to be so hot that it burns everything up. These practices are very strong practices, particularly Bhastrika, which we did earlier, and sometimes they can activate you and get you so charged up that you might want to go start a fight with the person that pissed you off 3 years ago or whatever it is, and that's not always the most constructive thing to do. So it's good to bring everything back down to earth, let everything sink down to the level of water before you end your practice today. So for meditation today, we'll just do a very gentle, simple breath ratio. If you would like a hand gesture to hold in meditation, something that's somewhat germane to Manipura, the city of jewels, the 10-petaled yellow lotus in the belly, is Lakshmi Mudra, and I'm going to come up close to show you what that looks like. Lakshmi is both a Hindu and Chinese goddess of fortune, prosperity, and good stuff in general. Lakshmi Mudra looks like this. I fold the last 3 fingers into the palm, and I bring the first finger to rest on top of the thumb, like that. Like Lakshmi Mudra. There you are. So if you wish to hold this hand gesture associated with prosperity, good fortune, good stuff in general, doesn't have to be winning the lottery, but just good stuff. You can let it rest in the lap, on the thighs like this, the hands resting down. And from here, we're going to get into our meditative practice. Now remember that meditation is not the complete emptying the mind of all thoughts, but it is the returning of the mind to a focus of meditation. If you're doing seeded, meaning like a seed that grows in the earth, seeded meditation, which we are. So from here, find a comfortable seat. You can lean back in the chair if you like, but make sure that your spine is suspended. So you might have to actually sit back in the chair and allow the backrest of the chair to help support you. From here, we're just going to start inhaling and exhaling. If you remember your Ujjayi breathing from last week, you can totally tap into that, your ocean breath, inhaling and exhaling. Closing the eyes, allowing the breath to ebb and flow seamlessly like the waves of an ocean. And on your next inhale, you can try inhaling for a count of 4, holding the breath for 2, exhaling 4, Holding the breath out for 2. Inhaling 4. Holding 2. Exhaling 4. Holding out for 2. And continuing. If you like, on your next inhale, you can try inhaling for 6, holding for 3, exhale 6, holding the breath out for 3, inhale 6, holding 3, exhaling 6, holding 3, and continuing. When the mind wanders, return it to the breathing. When you're ready, if you're still holding the hand gesture, you can release, bringing the palms face down on the lap. Allow your breathing to become smooth like the ocean again. If you'd like to open your eyes just a millimeter and look at the nose tip, that will help to ground you as well. Inhaling and exhaling like the ebb and flow of the tides. And then when you're ready, either with eyes closed, slightly open looking at your nose tip, or open all the way, we'll inhale, take the arms wide and up. When the arms come to eye level, you can open the eyes and look up towards the hands. Exhale, push the hands down in front of you for Prana Mudra, a gesture of life force. Inhaling, arms wide and up. Exhale, hands down in front of you. Last time. We'll inhale, arms wide and up, bringing palms to touch overhead. We'll exhale, palms to heart center in Anjali Mudra, the gesture of prayer. If you would like to join us in making the seed sound today of Manipura Chakra, the sound is Ram, R-A-M, like a ram, full of forward motion. So I'm going to inhale deeply. The light in me sees and honors the light in your glowing belly. Namaste.
Namaste.
Join us next week for Anahata Chakra, the heart chakra.